The WTA broke its silence, and what they revealed about Alex Yala and Nikola Bartonkova shocked the entire tennis world. Because what happened on that Birmingham court on June 7th, 2026, was never supposed to go the way it did. Two players, one trophy, and a backstory so twisted that nobody, not even the fans who were there, fully understood what they were watching. A doubles partner turning into a singles rival, a 14-match curse hanging over one of tennis's brightest young stars, and a 3-set final that had the whole world holding its breath until the very last point. Stay with this story, because the truth is far more dramatic than the scoreline.
All those names that you've mentioned are tennis greats, and I am so honored to be lifting this trophy today, but lifting this trophy does not mean that I will be among the greats yet, so I'm motivated to keep working, and I'm grateful for the part that this trophy has played in my journey. I'd also like to thank Nikola for this kind words, and of course congratulate you for an amazing week. And it's one of those days I wish we could both win, and of course this match was incredible. I think it was anyone's game, so congratulations to your team. And yeah, I'll see you next week or in the week after. I'd also like to thank my coach right there. And my team, and of course my family who's watching from home now. I love you guys.
Nobody tells you about the strangest part of this story first. The media focused on the trophy, on the ranking, on the history. But here's the detail that makes this entire saga feel almost cinematic, almost too dramatic to be real. Alex Yala and Nikola Bartunkova were doubles partners. Same side of the net, same shared towel breaks, same corner during changeovers. They walked onto the Edgbaston Priory Club courts together just days before the final, as a team, as partners, representing a shared goal. And then, just 1 week later, they stood across from each other in a WTA singles final, competing for the very same trophy. Think about that for a second. Think about what that does to a player mentally. Yala and Bartunkova had entered the Birmingham Open doubles draw together as an unseeded duo. They fought hard, even forcing a deciding match tiebreak, but ultimately fell short against Harriet Dart and Maya Lumsden, going 4-6, 6-2, 9-11. It was a disappointing early exit, and in any other context, it would have been a minor footnote, a doubles loss early in the week. Move on.
It feels very tough, but what are the memories that you are going to take with you from this tournament?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit sad, after a difficult match, and also it was an incredible match for both of us. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Alex. It's a really nice to start the tournament on the same side and the finish tournament on the other side, so it's very nice. And also I wish you all the best for the future, and I hope you will play some couple matches in the future.
Thank you very much. Please do stand over there. Let's give it all once again for Nikola Bartunkova.
But this tournament had other plans for them. Yala, the top seed, ranked number 37 in the world, tore through the singles draw, dismantling Priscilla Hahn 6-0, 6-2, dispatching Alina Chirayeva 6-2, 7-5, routing Manenshaya Sawanke 6-3, 6-2, and outlasting Rebecca Masarova 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 in a rain-delayed semifinal.
Thank you guys for staying and for keeping the atmosphere alive. It was such a tough battle today. Every time we got back and forth, you never knew what was going to happen. It's a new story. So, and Rebecca played really well and put me in some tough spots. So I'm very happy.
Absolutely.
Bartunkova, seeded 5th, was equally relentless on the other side of the draw. She defeated Harriet Dart, Gabriela Knutson, Mika Stojcevadlich, and Ashlyn Kruger in sequence, each match carrying its own grind and grit to book her place in the final. Two players who had shared a court as teammates just days earlier were now inevitable, a collision course written in tournament brackets. And the tennis world had no idea how explosive it was about to get. The question everyone should have been asking from the very first day of this tournament wasn't just who would win. It was, what happens when your doubles partner knows exactly how you play? Because the curse we're about to talk about in the next chapter, it almost derailed everything before the match even started. There is a number every Filipino tennis fan knew going into this final. A number that had become a ghost following Alex Ayla across every court she had stepped on since turning professional in 2020. 0-13. Ayla's record against Czech players stood at a woeful 0-13 going into the final against Bartunkova. This year alone, Ayla lost to 3 Czech players, Teresa Valentova in the Qatar Open, Linda Noskova at Indian Wells, and Karolina Muchova at Miami, all WTA 1000 events. 0 wins in 14 attempts. That is not a slump. That is not bad luck. That is a pattern so deeply carved into her career statistics that analysts were openly questioning whether it was psychological as much as it was tactical. The Czech Republic has long been one of the powerhouses of women's tennis. They produce technically sound baseliners, mentally resilient competitors, and players who seem to raise their level precisely when they sense an opponent's vulnerability. For whatever reason, the spin patterns, the heavy balls, the aggression from the baseline, Czech players had become Ayla's kryptonite. The top-seeded Ayla was 0-13 against Czechs since turning pro in 2020, and Bartunkova, her opponent in the final, was ranked number 69 in the world and was the very doubles partner she had just lost alongside days earlier. Now, consider what this meant for Ayla mentally. She had won 4 straight matches in Birmingham. She had been the dominant force in the draw all week. She had barely dropped a set before the final. And yet, the moment she walked out to face Bartunkova, every single fan, every single journalist, every single statistic was reminding her of those 13 losses. 13 Czech opponents, 13 defeats, and one more standing across the net wearing the 5th seed bib, knowing, because she had practiced with Ayla, trained alongside her, watched her patterns up close in doubles, exactly where Ayla liked to hit the ball. This was not just a tennis final. This was a psychological examination. And it was about to get even more complicated. Ayla herself had spoken about the challenges of grass court tennis earlier in the week. She said, "I like that the ball stays low on grass. It's true that I haven't had much time on grass compared to other surfaces." She was still learning the surface, still building confidence, still finding her footing on the unpredictable English grass. And her opponent knew all of it. Is where this story turns, because what happened in that final, nobody predicted it. Nobody could have written it. Keep watching. The Ann Jones Center Court at the Edgbaston Priory Club had seen legends. Billie Jean King had walked these grounds. Maria Sharapova had lifted a trophy here. Martina Navratilova, Ash Barty, Petra Kvitova, Angelique Kerber. The history embedded in this place is enormous. On June 7, 2026, a 21-year-old from the Philippines stepped out to add her name to that list. Or try to. The first set told a story of a player being tested in ways she hadn't been all week. Bartunkova came out swinging. She used her knowledge of Ella's game, that intimate knowledge, the kind you only gain from standing on the same side of the net, and she deployed it ruthlessly. She attacked Ella's backhand. She varied the pace. She refused to let the top seed settle into the baseline rallies she had been dominating all tournament. Ella dropped the first set 5-7, a tight, grinding affair, but responded with a dominant second set, racing to a 5-2 lead before Bartunkova pulled one back. Ella held firm to force a deciding third set. But then, the third set happened, and this is where the match became something else entirely. Ella broke early. She moved ahead 4-2. She had momentum, she had the crowd, she had history in her grasp. And then Bartunkova, because that is the kind of player she is, refused to let it be clean. The Czech player continued to fight back, eventually leveling the set at 5-5, forcing the kind of pressure cooker endgame that tests everything you are as a competitor. Stop and think about what that 5-5 moment meant for Ella. She had been ahead 4-2, she had seen the finish line, and then, in a blink, it was level again. 14 Czech opponents, 14 would-be defeats. Was this going to be the one that hurt the most? Ella had spoken before the final with a kind of focused calm. "I'm feeling good. I think today was a great test, and I'll be ready for tomorrow." But being ready and being in that moment, those are two entirely different things. The crowd held its breath. The Filipino fans in the stands and millions watching across Southeast Asia, staying up through the night, could barely look. And then came the final game. A game that would define everything. One shot, one decision that would either cement her legacy or extend the curse. What happened next? You are not going to believe it.
There is a moment in every champion's story, a single point, a single decision, a single breath, where everything becomes clear, where the noise disappears and the only thing left is the player and the ball and the choice they make. For Alex Ila, that moment came in the final game of the Birmingham Open final. Serving for the championship at 6-5 in the third, she faced not one, not two, but 3 breakpoints, 3 chances for Bartunkova to rip the momentum away one final time, to level it at 6-6, to drag this match into a tiebreak where anything could happen. 3 breakpoints, 3 moments where the 0-14 Czech curse could have written its most painful chapter yet. In her post-match speech, Ila addressed exactly what was going through her mind in that final game. It was a really tight moment, and I knew that if I didn't go for it, Nikki would go for it. That single sentence reveals everything. No hesitation, no surrender to the pressure, no backing into the corner and hoping for an error. She made a decision, attack or be attacked, and she chose to attack. She saved all 3 breakpoints, and then she closed it out. The final score read 5-7, 6-3, 7-5, and with it, Alex Ila won her first WTA title of the 2026 season, her second WTA 125 title overall, and, crucially, her first ever victory against a Czech opponent on the WTA Tour. In 14 attempts, she had finally broken the curse. The Filipino fans in the stands erupted. The players watching from the locker room reacted on social media. And in the Philippines, a nation that had been awake through the night, watching every service game and every tiebreak point, found its release in one enormous collective exhale. In her championship speech, Ila said, "I am so honored to be lifting this trophy today. Lifting this trophy does not mean that I will be among the greats yet, so I'm motivated to keep working, and I'm grateful for the part that this trophy has played in my journey. It's one of those days I wish we could both win. This match was incredible. I think it was anyone's game." Anyone's game. She said that standing with the trophy in her hands. That is not false modesty. That is a player who understood exactly how close to the edge she had been, how real the danger was, and how much it had cost her to come through it. And then she said something else, something that the WTA world has been quoting and replaying ever since. "But lifting this trophy does not mean that I will be among the greats yet. I'm motivated to keep working, and I'm grateful for the part that this trophy has played in my journey." 21 years old, 2 WTA titles, sitting alongside Sharapova, Navratilova, Barty, and Kerber in the role of Birmingham champions, and still telling the world she has work to do.
But here is where the WTA stepped in and what they revealed about what this win actually means for the rankings and for Wimbledon is the part of this story that nobody is talking about loudly enough, until now.
This is a story about more than a tennis match. It is about what happens when the pressure is maximum, the odds are stacked, the curse is real, and the opponent across the net is someone who has literally practiced with you. Alex Ayala did not just win a trophy in Birmingham, she passed a test that the sport had been setting for her for years. And she passed it with grace, ferocity, and that quiet, unshakable belief that the right path eventually leads somewhere extraordinary. The WTA has broken its silence. The rankings have shifted. Wimbledon is weeks away. The world is watching, and Alex Ayala is just getting started.